say it again. If you don't know the scenic route, which means taking 2, max 3 legs to get to work, learn it. I actually meal prepped, which is part of the reason that my time management was off, because I don't usually meal prep. I was up a little later than I should have, just on Netflix, minding my business, trying to be happy. And I finally look at my schedule again around like 2 a.m. and I see that I have a trip put on me for 7:15 p.m. reports. I was like, yes, late report. I can sleep in tomorrow and then fly into town to report for my trip. Great. I went ahead and booked a flight on 2 carriers just in case, just as a backup. I was like, all right, cool. I even had a third one I was ready to book into Midway as a backup, because all of those flights were going to get in around like close to 5, and I didn't have to report till 7:15. Right? Things should be simple. Things should be simple. If y'all want to know what I'm eating, y'all probably don't care. But I'm eating salmon, mashed potatoes, and then like a tomato cucumber salad that I like to make. Like I said, my time management was off. By the time I get to where I park at, because I don't park at the airport. So listen, I commute, right? So I have to park, and I'm not going to park at the airport, because parking at the airport is extremely overpriced. It is not realistic to budget to park at an airport, especially like the Atlanta airport. The economy daily is $14 a day. The regular daily is $18 a day. And where I park is like $4. So yeah, no. And it has a shuttle. So that's what I do. I park there, and then, you know, but then you have to account for the time from whatever, if they have scheduled times that they shuttle you or whatever, or if they're driving around the parking lot seeing if other people need to get picked up type. So I ended up just getting like a ride share, because there wasn't going to be a shuttle coming soon. And so this lady like hops into my ride share like with me, which sounds more harmful than it is. But she was like, are you heading to the airport? Because they said like their shuttle person like just isn't showing up. And I was like, yeah, sure. She was like, I'll like send you some money for it. I was like, it's all good, come on in. And she ended up giving me like $10, and that's really how much the Lyft cost. So I really didn't pay for it. So thank you to her. And this just shows you that you should be nice. Be nice, okay? She just wanted to get to the airport too. Anyways, Jesus. So by the time I get to the airport, I'm super sad, right? Because on the way to where I park at, I got a boarding pass in my email. And so I was like, oh yes, I have a seat. Missed it. Second one I had lined up. Missed it. So now I'm on my backups into Midway, okay? And I was like, okay, I still have enough time that I can fly into Midway and go on the train from Midway to O'Hare, to ORD. I was like, I still have enough time for that, because I was gonna land at like 5 something. And from what I looked up, it was like, give yourself 2 hours to get from one place to the other on the train, because you have to switch trains during it too. But I do know the train station that you would switch at, because I've been trying to like get out a little bit more in Chicago now. So I do know the trains a little bit better, and I always take the trains around, because it's just like there's one literally in each of the airports. Not that this is actually my first time ever being in Midway, but it's right in the Chicago O'Hare airport. You can use an app for it. We get like a discounted rate for it, like being airline crew. Like, it's easy, it's simple. Most people in the city honestly use it, and it makes sense. Luckily, it's 2 different airlines, but they ended up being like 2 gates away from each other. But when I come up the escalator, if you're in Atlanta, you know, you come up the escalator and then it split sides, and it's like 1 to 27 and then like 28 to 56, something like that, right? And so I'm like, oh great, they're on the opposite sides from each other. I'm gonna be ripping and running because the flights were 10 minutes away apart from each other. So I was like, I have to make it on one of them. So I go to the first one and I see that it's delayed. It's delayed 30 minutes, and I'm like number 9 on the standby list, and it's supposed to be a full flight. I go over to the other gate, and I'm number 9, and the flight is full, but it's on time, right? It's at 4:50. And so I'm like, okay, let me hang out. I was doing some stuff on my iPad. I'm kind of loving my iPad, not gonna lie. And get rolled. I'm like, all right, missed 2 flights, rolled on the 3rd, gotta make it on to the 4th. I have to, because at this point, even when I was sitting there, I was like, am I gonna have to do a 2-flighter to work today? Am I gonna have to fly into Charlotte or fly into Milwaukee? Like, if you don't know the scenic route to your base and you're a commuter, learn it. Let me say it again. If you don't know the scenic route, which means taking 2, max 3 legs to get to work, learn it. Because one day you're gonna have to use it. Because please believe, whether I lived in Charlotte or whether I lived in Atlanta, I've had to do it. It's our life, okay? But even because of the time that it was already 4 something, it was gonna be difficult for me to fly somewhere and then fly somewhere else from there to still make it into Chicago by 7:15, okay? So now I get rolled on flight number 3, and I go over to flight number 4. Don't know how to see the standby list for this particular airline, and I should have asked them, because this isn't one of our dedicated airlines. This isn't one of the airlines that we fly, but we still have benefits on them. So like, if y'all don't know, if you're a commuter and you don't know who all you can fly on, we can talk. I'm gonna start either a membership or a Patreon so that people that want to ask me direct questions, y'all can ask them to me and I can actually focus on your needs specifically. But like, nah, for real, if you commute and you don't know all of the carriers that you can fly on to get to work, because please believe, I think I've used all of them but 2, and I think it's just because it's hard to get those out of Atlanta. They're like West Coast, more like airlines instead of East Coast airlines. So it's like I don't really have the option to use them. In which, it's a whole nother story time, but I was considering changing bases, but I've decided to stay. But we can talk about that in another video. In 2 ways. I see that one of our dedicated has a flight that's like 14 minutes later, because it's at 5:44. This flight that got delayed is now at 5:30. There is a carrier of ours that has a flight at 5:44 directly into O'Hare, but it's oversold by 4, and I again am number 9 on the list. So that carrier at least is really good about sending you text messages. And so I was like, okay, if I'm here and it's still boarding and I get a text that I have a seat on that flight, then I'm going to run to the train, like hop on the train and catch that flight. But if I don't get a text, I'm going to sit it out here, and I have to make it onto this flight. I have to. So y'all, she starts going through the standby list. I'm number 9, right? So I'm chilling for a little bit. She calls the first 2 names. One of the people walk up. She calls 3 more names. None of them walk up. I'm like, okay, this is giving me hope, right? She calls 3 more names. 2 of the people walk up. I'm like, okay. She looks dead. She looks me dead in my eye, says my last name. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Thank you. So finally, I'm on my flight to Midway. Let's remember this. And I'm not getting in until like 6:25. And I have to get from Midway to Chicago O'Hare, which is about a 35-minute drive in about 45-50 minutes, hoping that there isn't any traffic. We're in the air, we land, okay? Y'all, I forgot I was eating. I'm so into this story. So we land even a few minutes early, which I'm like, thank the Lord. But then guess what happens? Because we thought it was gonna be simple after that, right? Right, that's what we thought. So now, we're parked at the gate. No gate agent. No jet bridge driver, as they wanted to call it, for about 10 minutes. I'm looking up both rideshare apps. One was like 80 something dollars, and I wasn't gonna get there until after my report. And then the other one was saying it wasn't available in the area, and I was like, you're lying, and I know you're lying. And so I closed the app and I opened it back up, and I still paid $50 for a rideshare to make it to work. So I finally get off the plane. I'm like starting to walk through the terminal, and I get the call from the driver because I booked it while I was still on the plane. I was like, I got to go, bro. Like, I'm cutting it too close at this point. Go, go, go. He calls me. I'm like, yeah, I'm coming out right now. Mind you, I don't know the Midway airport, okay? Don't know it. Don't know if I have to walk everywhere. Don't know if there's a train. Don't know if there's moving sidewalks. I don't know none of that. None of that. I finally get out. He's sitting right there. He was such a sweet driver. I gave him such a good rating. I gave him such a good tip. I was like, please just drive as fast as you can. Mind you, I was planning on getting in at around 5 something, maybe 6 o'clock, directly into O'Hare. So I went to the airport in regular clothes. So I'm changing into my uniform in the back of the car. And if y'all ever wonder, now that we're in winter, why I wear the turtleneck so much, it's because it doesn't have to be ironed. Okay? That's literally the reason. The reason is because it doesn't have to be ironed. I don't care. That is why I wear it so much. I'm like, can you please just drive as fast as you possibly can? When I tell you, he is the sweetest man. He was like, I've had someone in my car before tell me that, and then when I got to the airport, because I don't want them to miss their flight, they told me that I was driving too crazy. I said, listen, I'm not going to say a word. You're not going to hear a peep out of me. Drive however you want. Just get me there. Get me there. That's it. Oh my gosh. Like, I have never cut it so close, and I just like, but then get this, then we hold for 2 passengers from a delayed flight that's connecting anyway. So I was stressing my little poor self out for the flight to be delayed regardless. So yeah, that was my day. I'm just now eating for the first time. That was so stressful, y'all. Like, I have to do better. Don't be like me, okay? Have better time management than me. And if you watch this just to know that you have a backup into flying into Midway, that's good. Be like me. But do not be like me in the way of time management. Be better. Be better. I'm here to make mistakes so you don't make them. You're welcome. You didn't ask, but you're welcome. Okay, and on that note, because this is like 16 minutes now, I'm gonna finish up my dinner, finish up my tea, and take a shower and go to sleep. This trip altogether is literally 2 days. I have a 3-day starting, not tomorrow, but the day after. It's 2 days. Literally, it was just this one leg tonight. And then we're dead heading back to Chicago tomorrow, and I'm sitting on ready. That's it. That's it. So all of this, first of all, yeah, all of this for me to fly, for me to work on one flight, dead head back the next morning and sit on ready. Which they're probably not going to use me because I'm only on ready for like, you know what? Let me not say that. Let me not say they not gonna use me, because I'm gonna say that and then they gonna call me 1 minute after starting my ready time period. Good night, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and talk to me in the comments. And if you've ever cut it close, commuting, share your story with me. Seriously. Good night.